The modern nation of Spain covers roughly 195,000 square miles, primarily located on the Iberian Peninsula. It shares borders with Portugal to the west and France to the north, along with the small Principality of Andorra. Beyond the mainland, Spain governs the Balearic Islands in the Mediterranean Sea and the Canary Islands in the Atlantic Ocean. It also holds two small territories on the northern coast of Morocco. However, in the early 19th century, Spain's claimed territory was vastly larger, over 5 million square miles. Its influence stretched across much of the Americas, from present-day California down to Argentina, and even reached Asia through the Philippines. This period marked the height of Spain's global reach, built during a rapid and remarkable rise over the previous 3 centuries. The Universe documentary explores how Spain rose to become one of the first global superpowers in history. In the late 1400s, Spain, as a unified nation, did not yet exist. The Iberian Peninsula was divided among several Christian kingdoms, the most powerful being Castile and Aragon. Over centuries, these kingdoms gradually reclaimed land from Muslim rulers who had conquered much of the region in the early 8th century. A major turning point came in 1469 when Queen Isabella I of Castile married King Ferdinand II of Aragon. This union strengthened Christian control and effectively laid the foundation for a unified Spain. By 1492, their forces completed the Reconquista by capturing Granada, the last Muslim-held territory on the peninsula. With internal stability secured, the Spanish monarchs turned their attention outward. Inspired by Portugal's early exploration efforts, they sought new trade routes to Asia. At the time, Portuguese explorers had already begun navigating the African coast in search of a sea route to the lucrative spice markets of the East. It was during this period that a Genoese navigator, Christopher Columbus, proposed a bold idea: reaching Asia by sailing west across the Atlantic Ocean. After failing to gain support from Portugal, Columbus presented his plan to the Spanish crown. Isabella and Ferdinand eventually agreed to fund the expedition. On August 3, 1492, Columbus set sail with 3 ships, the Niña, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. After more than 2 months at sea, he reached land on October 12, believing he had arrived in the East Indies. Instead, he had unknowingly encountered a previously unknown continent to Europeans. Columbus explored parts of the Caribbean, including the Bahamas, Cuba, and Hispaniola, before returning to Spain with news of his discovery. Encouraged by his findings, the Spanish monarchy sponsored further voyages, leading to increased exploration and eventual contact with mainland South America. This discovery sparked rivalry between Spain and Portugal over newly found territories. In 1494, the Treaty of Tordesillas divided the non-European world between the two powers, granting Spain most of the Americas, while Portugal gained influence over Brazil and routes to Asia. Spain soon began establishing settlements in the New World. The first major settlement, Santo Domingo, was founded in 1496. Over the following decades, Spanish presence expanded across the Caribbean, with Cuba becoming a central hub of operations. Exploration of the mainland soon followed. In 1513, Vasco Núñez de Balboa crossed Panama and became the first European to see the Pacific Ocean. Meanwhile, powerful indigenous civilizations thrived in the Americas, including the Aztec Empire in present-day Mexico. In 1519, Hernan Cortes launched an Iberian into Mexico. With a relatively small force and support from local enemies of the Aztecs, he advanced toward the capital, Tenochtitlan. After intense Sangharsh, the city fell in 1521, marking the collapse of the Aztec Empire. The Spanish then established Mexico City on its ruins, making it a key administrative center. Further south, the Inca Empire dominated the Andes region. Beginning in the 1530s, Francisco Pizarro led expeditions into Peru. Despite internal conflicts among the Spanish and fierce resistance from the Incas, the empire was eventually conquered. Lima was established as the capital, and the Viceroyalty of Peru was formed. Spain's expansion wasn't limited to the Americas. In Asia, Spanish explorers claimed the Philippines in the mid-1500s, establishing Manila as a major Targovi and strategic hub. This gave Spain a crucial presence in global trade networks. The wealth of the empire was fueled by vast deposits of gold and silver, especially from mines in Mexico and Bolivia. These resources were shipped back to Spain, making it immensely wealthy, but also contributing to widespread inflation across Europe. A new society emerged in the colonies, blending Spanish settlers with indigenous populations. This led to the rise of mixed heritage communities and the spread of Spanish language and Catholicism. African slaves were also brought to work on plantations, particularly in the Caribbean. By the 17th century, however, Spain's dominance began to decline. Resources dwindled, and costly wars drained its wealth. Meanwhile, rival European powers, such as England, France, and the Netherlands, expanded their own colonies, challenging Spanish control. By the 18th century, colonial societies in the Americas had grown more independent in identity. Tensions rose between locally born elites and Spanish authorities. These divisions eventually contributed to widespread independence movements. The turning point came in the early 19th century, when political instability in Spain, triggered by Napoleon's invasion, sparked revolutions across Latin America. Leaders like Simón Bolívar and José de San Martín led successful campaigns for independence. By the 1820s, most of Spain's American empire had been lost. Only a few territories remained, including Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. These too were eventually lost after the Spanish-American War in 1898. After nearly 400 years, Spain's once vast global empire came to an end, its rise and fall shaping the course of world history.